Besides the fun, the business, and the networking of the convention itself, San Antonio has many places to go for art, history, and culture. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Matt Fleck visited the Alamo and has more on this one-of-a-kind historical site.
No trip to San Antonio would be complete without a visit to the legendary Alamo. This is the spot where in 1836, thousands of Mexican troops attacked and eventually overwhelmed a group of defenders fighting for Texas independence. Visitors are often surprised to find that this legendary site sits right in the center of downtown San Antonio.
When people come to the Alamo, often they want to know if they're at the right place. Yes, you are at the Alamo. And it's because they come here and it's downtown. It's sometimes smaller than they thought it would be. This is Texas, it's supposed to be big. That's where it helps to be able to say, that's the church. That's just part of it. Turn around and see the plaza. The plaza is the old mission footprint. And once people realize that the plaza, and they look to the south and look to the north, see how big it is, their whole impression of the site changes. And it goes from it's so small to it's so big. I understand why the Texans couldn't defend it. The church that we're standing in front of is the third church of Mission San Antonio de Valero. What's interesting is if you look at films, paintings of the Alamo, it looks like it does right now. It has that very famous parapet or hump on top of it. That wasn't there in 1836. And it's put there in 1850 by the United States Army. So artists, movie makers, the public, everybody likes to look at this and go, oh, it's 1836, but it's 1850.
Many are familiar with the expression, "Remember the Alamo." That famous battle cry became a reminder of the courage and sacrifice of the men who perished at the siege and helped inspire the forces of Sam Houston to defeat the Mexican army.
To us, where it's just sort of a slogan, to them, they're not really remembering the physical structure. They're not remembering the church. They're remembering the people because they were their friends, their relatives. They may not have known Davy Crockett, but they knew who he was. And so it's remember the Alamo, and essentially it's about vengeance. So it's very powerful rallying cry. It helps us as a tagline for people to say, hey, remember the Alamo, so that we can talk to them about what they should remember.
Guided tours are available that take you through the original footprint of the Spanish Mission complex, as well as the historic Alamo Church. You'll also learn about the important role cattle played in the San Antonio economy during this time period.
The missions and cattle went hand in hand because the wealth of the missions was their cattle. And we might think about, well, that's a lot of meat for them to eat. What are they doing with that? No, it's the hides. The hides are an industry that, they're sent to Mexico. It's their form of wealth. So all the missions had ranches. San Antonio de Valero, the Alamo, at one point had about 4,000 cattle and horses to manage them.
Each year, about 3 million people visit the Alamo. This must-see American landmark is one of the most memorable stops on any trip to San Antonio.
It's an American icon. It's really a worldwide icon. And it represents liberty and freedom. But it is part of the story of who we are. How did we get to be the people we are today? As we like to say, it's a story bigger than Texas.
Reporting from San Antonio, Texas, I'm Matt Fleck for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.